Videos are a hard thing to make. I know, definitely surprising, but they are even harder for me to make. I have a lot of video ideas that go and spin around my head, and that would be good if they were not such large projects. Most of the topics seem to be videos that would be at least 1 hour long, so sometimes I try to think of ideas that are shorter, not because of quantity over quality, but just because, let me admit it, I like making videos. But how does one get their own ideas? Some think for a long while some turn to worse methods like using AI. Now, I think I have shown my hate for AI a lot, and when I saw YouTube Studio had a feature for AI video ideas, I wanted to see how bad it was and maybe make a video about it. And half of the ideas were unoriginal slop and the other half was content I don't want to make, with bad or false informations and hallucinations that the dumb AI was giving. But then I saw one idea. The failed Russian console that tried to compete with the PlayStation 2. Now this title had something that made me want to learn more. I thought it would be another misinformed idea that had no fact baked into it. I thought the AI might have taken some parts of real life history and made it into this idea, because I thought it was referring to the Bildschirmspiel 01, a console made in the DDR during the communism and capital split of Germany, with an interesting history, but I was wrong. It mentioned something else, the Indrema L600, which I googled to see if it was wrong, and wait, this was a real console? Hold on, why have I not heard of this Linux console? What the hell is the Indrema? Now, before I begin, I have to state a fact, which is that no AI was used for this video. Sure, I got the video idea from AI, but all of the script writing, all of the editing, all of the recording, I made it all by myself. And yeah, I don't support AI. To begin the story, we have to go back to 1999, and to one man named John Gildred. It was a late night. Him and a couple of developer friends were up playing Quake and talking to each other. Then they started talking about how it would be cool if small-time game developers with great ideas and no money had a chance to develop games for a console. Now the rest probably didn't think about this idea, but John was different. Something inside of him didn't want this idea to go to waste, so he did what every sane programmer does. He planned his own gaming console. But the public wouldn't know about this until 2000, when he launched a website, Indrema.com. The homepage shows off the console, a sleek metallic box with a disk drive and text that has just been superimposed onto it. Now, this was not the final design, it was just one of the many prototypes. In one article, the console looks more like a desktop PC and it has a speaker on the side. The console was allegedly funded by friends and investors who saw the potential of the console, who thought, yeah, this seems like a cool idea. Now, if you watch my channel, this story might be reminding you a bit of another console called the Ouya. But hold on, don't jump to conclusions yet, I still have more to tell. Later in 2000, John would appear on the tech TV show Screensavers to talk more about the Indrema.
Company is actually developing one. John Gildred is a founder and CEO of Indrema to talk to you about the Indrema entertainment system. You're going to go head to head, John, with Sony, with Sega, with Microsoft and their Xbox. You're facing some pretty tough competition.
Yeah, they're pretty tough.
And the interviewer does raise a good question, because in this era, video game consoles were becoming revolutionary. The PS2, Xbox, and GameCube released in this era, plus the Dreamcast, which did come out earlier, but that console failed, which established the status quo of Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft becoming the driving forces in consoles. How would this little indie company manage to compete? Well, instead of pulling a Ouya, they would not compete.
We're not really gonna go after this exact same market share. We're really going after the hardcore gamer.
Because John wanted to target hardcore gamers, and the specs were pretty similar to the Xbox, but the difference was that it had an upgradable GPU. He also mentioned the reason to use Linux. Yes, before the Steam Machine, we had the Indrema. After watching that Ouya interview, there is nothing more joyful than seeing someone who actually can give good answers and cares about their product. But also, they advertise it as also being able to be an entertainment box with the ability to play movies, music, the works. Now, an issue with researching this video is that there is almost no information, but around April 7th, 2000, the website was modified to advertise their booth at Linux World, a convention for the most Linux-pilled people would go and visit.
So Nvidia, fuck you.
And I have not been able to find any footage of this, not one bit, and not even an image. At around the end of 2000, they would advertise their Indrema developer network, which would have the tools for game developers to develop their games for the Indrema. They would also announce this at an online launch event on the 6th of November 2000. But this footage is lost media, so I have no footage here, yippee. And this was getting close to the tentative release date of December 2000, which is which John said at the beginning of the year it didn't release, because the console needed just some more time in the oven, but John did announce some updates about the product. We have become pretty immersed in development lately. Our first priority is to ensure that the product gets done correctly. The navigational GUI and other system components are being worked on. It has grown into quite a monster. What was originally a fairly thin GUI wrapper on top of GL/X is now a very robust platform for future GUI development. We are taking a more sophisticated approach to the design of the Indrema components. Now we are integrating a 3D scene graph system and a new highly object-oriented design to render the TV manager interface. That's a very good thing. We hope to release these new components under LGPL or similar license once it is in a state where others can become involved and add value. And so it was quietly worked on, but criticisms would start to appear because the PS2 had come out already and the Xbox was going to release this year. Now, a couple of days before the PS2 came out, Indrema would make this post called Top 10 Reasons to Save Our Dollars and Buy an Indrema Console. Number 10. The PlayStation 2 box looks like Max Headroom designed it. May the 80s rest in peace. 9. Buy made in the USA. Xbox doesn't count, Bill Gates is his own country. Number 8. Some losers are going to wait in line for 2 days in front of some store just to get hold of the new artificially created demand. We'll overcharge you cause we can. Overrated toy of the seasons. You're not one of those, are you? Number 7. God's own game console isn't worth the $600 that the PlayStation 2 is scalping for these days. Number 6. Some hacker will just make a PS2 emulator for the Indrema anyway. 5. Nintendo is so 5th grade. 4. By the time you actually get a hold of the PS2, its GPU will already be obsolete. Indrema's GPU is upgradable. 3. 4 controller ports and built-in internet access. Indrema has it. PS2 doesn't. Come on, we know you have more than one friend. I don't have any. 2. Xbox says, we are Microsoft, resistance is futile. Indrema says, we are open source, viva la resistance. And the number one reason to save your money and buy an Indrema is Indrema supports independent developers, so we'll get all the perverted gains. Do not ask me what the fuck they meant with that last line. Now, this post was meant to be sarcastic, not meant to be taken completely seriously, but this pissed off the like 20 fans of the PlayStation who knew what the Indrema was, and they started to call this console Vapor Warrior because they did not think this console would release. But John did state it would release sometime before the year 2000 is out. I mean, the chances the console is actually real are low. I don't think it is truly exists. Like, the only evidence I would accept is if there was a game news spread of the image, but that... Let me break out of this monotone reading of the script to just gush about the Indrema design and this whole article. Something about the design of it is so alluring. The pristine metal shine of the console really shows off that 2000s era. Plus, this article also includes sketches of what it could have looked like. Plus, these game screenshots have some nostalgic feeling to them. Anyway, time to remove the soul of this video. No! because the controller of this console was not made for the console. It turns out the controller is called the Access Pad, made by Interact, a company that distributed Game Sharks in America. They just painted it silver. This year would also have some more issues for the Indrema. A major one was that the Indrema got caught in a controversy due to an advert they had in Russia. Oh, so that's why the AI dumbass thought it was Russian. The only source I have found for this is in the Indremaverse server. A little side tangent, the Indremaverse is this alternative history project that is about the Indrema, had it become a popular company. You should check it out, link in the description if you like alternative history and video games. 1C, a publisher and video game company in Russia, was going to distribute the Indrema, so they wanted to advertise it to the Russian gamers by making a Soviet-era advert with a Lenin lookalike saying, "The revolution has come," with the tagline Indrema Comrades. This caused the Communists of Petersburg and Leningrad Oblast, a communist organization, to get pissed and called for it to get removed due to it using a communist figure for a capitalistic advert. I thought I would only mention communism in the Bildschirmspiel section. Also, allegedly, they fucking tried to raid an electronic store chain because of how pissed they were. I don't think this happened, but if it did, this is the second worst thing a console has ever done. Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it might not impact the launch of the console. I mean, they still have money from the Kickstarter supporters. They still have enough for other hey, wait, Kickstarter didn't exist yet, and they haven't sold a console, obviously. Where are they getting all their money from? I mean, John said they were working with Red Hat, a large Linux software company, but it couldn't have been that much. Maybe they get some more investors that have been supporting the company and will make sure it releases on time. On Friday, April 6, 2001, Indrema Corporation was terminated. This decision marked the end of a prolonged and unsuccessful attempt to secure subsequent round funding to support continued operation. Our vision to empower independent game developers to take control of their future and redefine the next generation of interactive entertainment lives on in the hearts of many hopeful and ambitious creators, artists, and innovators. The revolution will continue without the Indrema. After all of this work, all of this effort, Indrema was over. No console would get released, and the company would go defunct, and Indrema would be forgotten, and so would most of the history. I had to use the Wayback Machine so much for this video that I feel like I need to give now half of my later paychecks to the Internet Archive until the day I die. The Indrema was a pretty insane idea at the time. Linux wasn't as well known, and the idea of some random company trying to compete was crazy, but Linux consoles and Linux itself have been getting more attention for the past few years, with the Steam Machine 1 and 2, and with the Steam Deck because of the improvements to the technology. Plus, Microsoft sucks, so I mean, yeah. If there is one thing Indrema was right about, it was that the revolution of indie creators being able to create games for a console was going to happen. Indrema was just at the wrong place and the wrong time. If it released in the 2020s and had Kickstarter backing, it would probably be the new favorite console of most gamers. Now, this console has some similarities to the Ouya, but I see them as completely different. Because where the Ouya failed because of mismanagement and utter ignorance, the Indrema failed because it had no way of getting funded. The signs were there, with the example of the controller not being original. Others might call the console a scam, but where is the scam part? Where's the part where you give the money for a faulty product? And if it was a scam or mismanaged like the Ouya, I would probably be making fun of John, but I'm not because he seems like a good guy who was just early to the modern success of Linux consoles. I hope he's doing well nowadays with whatever else he's making. By the way, John, if you're watching this video, give me the rights to Indrema, and we will make an Indrema 2. We will release the Indrema 2. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Join me next time where I talk about the failed console known as the Wii. Come on, that little controller? That looks like a dildo. Indrema, Indrema, Indrema. Indrema, Indrema, Indrema. This is the song about Indrema. Indrema, Indrema, Indrema. Yeah, that was the video that I made. I made this video. Yeah, so I hope it's good. I hope you liked it. If you didn't, then I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna go on the ground and I'm gonna piss myself. Thank you people who watched the last video about video games and Christianity. I would like to thank God for making me be able to like have that many people watch my video. So thank you, Lord. I'm not sure what my next video is gonna be. Maybe there's gonna be like a 6 months like stretch of nothing coming out. Like I have a video for December ready. It's like a shotgun shell. It's in the chamber. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna make next. I don't know if I'm gonna make like a 5-hour retrospective about Primeval or The Boys, which I wanted to make a video before I react to the finale, but I didn't have time to record my reaction to the finale. I'm not gonna spoil it because that's gonna be very bad, but it was a very good finale, very cinema. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please give me $1 million. Donate to my Kickstarter project called the Indrema 2. Indrema. This is the song about Indrema. Indrema.